Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Money Garden. So today it's Monday, you guys, and we're going to talk about some money matters. The title for today's episode is Cash Flow and How We Increase It. More specifically, I'll talk to you guys about 3 ways how to increase cash flow. Before we do that, I'd like to take a moment and let's talk about what is cash flow. So technically the definition of cash flow is you take your income minus your expenses, and whatever's left, that is your cash flow. Sometimes I have clients tell me, well, I don't have a cash flow because maybe they are living paycheck to paycheck, they don't have any money, they are in debt, or in fact, maybe actually they have less money at the end of the month. There's nothing really left, or they're borrowing, or they're going more in debt. That would be a negative cash flow. So then I tell them, no, you still have, as long as you have an income and you have expenses, which we all do, we have a cash flow. You have a cash flow. It might be negative, but you have a cash flow. So that's your cash flow. Take your income minus your monthly expenses, whatever's left, negative or positive, it's your cash flow. So then the question becomes, how do we increase cash flow? No matter how much you make, I have never met a person that did not actually want to make more money. If you have a job and you continuously going to that job, if you have a business and you continue working on your business, that means you want more money. If you did not want more money, you would just sit around on a couch. I'm not saying some people don't do it, maybe, but I have never met a person who didn't want more money. Now, is it the money for the sake of money? No, it doesn't have to be. People like to use their money to do charitable contributions, and that's a wonderful thing to do. Maybe you want to help a family member. Maybe you want to have financial security for yourself. Maybe you help your children. Whatever it is that we do with it, it doesn't always have to mean that just because we want more money, it's necessarily for our own benefit, or we just want to go and blow it or buy luxurious things, although it's nothing wrong with that as well if some people do it. All I'm saying is that it doesn't have to mean a bad thing. A lot of times people have these bad negative connotations around money. Somehow it's a bad thing. It isn't a bad thing. It's what we do with it. It will ultimately determine, how are we using it, and should we or should we not have more. But going back to cash flow, everyone always wants more money. So then the question becomes, how do we increase cash flow? And there's 3 ways, you guys, that we look at it and we can increase cash flow. Number 1 is increasing your income. So again, if you think about the equation, cash flow equals income minus expenses. Then if we increase the income, that's one way we are going to increase our cash flow. Granted that you're not increasing your expenses, it stays the same. How can we increase income? There is really several ways, and you will find that if you just take a moment and you ask the questions and you give it some thought, there's some solutions and ideas are going to come up that otherwise you would have never thought that they existed or they could exist for you, but they are. So number 1, you can get a raise. You can go to your boss and ask for a raise. You can get a promotion if that's the possibility. You can get another job that will pay you more money. You can get a part-time job. You can start a side hustle. You can do all of the above. All of these different ways are going to ultimately lead you to increase an income. Also, you can think about selling some stuff that maybe if you have a lot of stuff around your house and you don't need, you can start selling some stuff. And there are these are just a few examples online on letgo.com maybe, or you can sell stuff on eBay, right? You can sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace, which is for free. You take a picture. I did it not long ago. I had extra purses, whatever. I don't want them anymore, so I put it there and it's sold. There you go. Or just have a garage sale. So there's many ways that we can start having a little bit extra income. So that's one way, increase your income. Number 2, decrease your expenses. How do we decrease expenses? And a lot of the times when people say, there's no way I can decrease expenses, I'm already down. I will promise you, if you write them down, you have to write it down. Just do an experiment. Take 1 week or 2 weeks maybe, or a month, and do an experiment. Write down at the end of your day, write down every single thing that you spent that day. If it was $1 for coffee or $3 for a donut or whatever it was, write it down. or if you put it on a card or a debit card, make sure that you go and look at your statement and write it down, make a list. I will promise you by the end of the week, you will find that you're spending stuff on things that you're like, I don't really need that. And look how much money I spent. I spent extra $10 or extra $15 and I didn't even realize it. So once you see it, once you have the list, now you're going to be able to pinpoint areas where, oh, I can eliminate this. I can reduce this. I can eliminate this. Before you know it, you're saving $20 a month. Hey, $20 is $20. I promise you it adds up over time. So there are ways that we can decrease expenses. And then number 3, the third way is really do both. It's really the ideal way. Start looking at ways, how can I increase my income? And then how can I decrease my expenses? And by doing both, inevitably, you will increase your cash flow. And then that's a whole other conversation, but then what do we do with that cash flow? How best do we save it, invest it? What do we do with it, pay off debt? All of the above. That's a whole other episode. But for today, so these are your 3 ways to increase your cash flow. Number 1, increase your income. Number 2, decrease your expenses. And of course, number 3, do both. Hope that helps you guys today about cash flow, understanding what cash flow is and how we increase it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, please leave your comments, thoughts below. And I will see you guys on Wednesday.